In 2012, a mysterious structure found buried in Antarctica, measuring more than 14 miles long, was discovered on Google Earth and has left people on the internet baffled. Spotted on the Google Earth map, the white blur deep in the barren continent has provoked many speculations, some of them suggesting that it could be a secret research station hidden by a government or a UFO buried in the ice. This mysterious structure, or whatever it is so huge that you can't miss it on the Google Earth map. It measures 14.5 miles by 4.5 miles area of bright white. There are a few things to consider here, as Antarctica is covered with military and scientific research stations from dozens of countries, many of which are decades old and abandoned. It's not unusual to find some unknown or mysterious object on Google Maps when searching that area. The white blocks could also be covering up some military base, so we can't see details of their operations, as many military bases all over the world are blurred for national security reasons, and there's nothing weird at all. It could be some sort of government research facility. They are allowed to request Google blur out things like that, as Google Earth Maps is simply strips of images taken from a satellite circling the planet. Could this simply be an imaging error from the satellite flyover that covered the area? But Google Maps have updated their image data many times, so this structure would have been wiped away if it was simply an image error, but it's still there after many years in the exact same spot. So with such a level of internet infamy, you would think that the governments of the world would be interested in solving this mystery. Not really. The governments and scientists of the world have had a suspicious disinterest in what this anomaly could be. Only a few scientists have responded and simply give the perfect Men in Black response, saying it's probably just light reflecting off the different sheets of ice that make up the Antarctic continent. Could this mysterious 14-mile structure we see today be something more than just a glitch on Google Earth imaging? An Antarctic mountain with a unique pyramid-like shape became suddenly internet famous, with countless theorists contemplating its origin. A few years ago, satellite imagery of Google Earth discovered a constellation of 3 snow-covered pyramids located in Antarctica. The pyramidal mountain, which doesn't have a formal name, is one of the many peaks that make up Antarctica's Ellsworth Mountains, which were discovered by the American aviator Lincoln Ellsworth during a flight on November 23, 1935. The first news about the existence of pyramids in Antarctica appeared on the internet in 2013, and it was a slideshow of several photographs. Some are wondering whether an ancient civilization created the rocky pyramidal structure, and others are pointing toward outer space, speculating about the involvement of aliens. As there was no research that has even mentioned into Antarctica civilization in the past, So how did the pyramids get there? Could they be man-made structures? If so, such discovery could rewrite our entire history. Of course, many people, especially most researchers and scientists, are a bit skeptical about the discovery. However, there are still many people who believe it, including alien theory supporters who are open about altering the history of such findings. But Occam's razor, the idea that the simplest explanation is usually the right one, points to a far more mundane cause. Those steep, pyramid-like sides are likely the work of hundreds of millions of years of erosion, is what experts told to Live Science. Eric Rigno, a professor of Earth System Science at the University of California, Irvine, said, "This is just a mountain that looks like a pyramid. Pyramid shapes are not impossible. Many peaks partially look like pyramids, but they only have 1 to 2 faces like that, rarely 4. Maury Pelto, a professor of environmental science at Nicholas College in Dudley, Massachusetts, said that freeze-thaw erosion likely led to its pyramid-like shape. This happens when snow or water fills up cracks within a mountain during the day. When night falls and temperatures drop, the snow freezes and expands, turning into ice. The expanding ice causes the cracks to grow. 3 of the mountain's 4 sides appear to have eroded at about the same rate. It suggests, since it came out so evenly, that the rock type is fairly uniform. A special expedition will be sent to Antarctica to study the mysterious objects, and then hopefully we will find out more about its origin in bizarre shapes and forms. In 2017, bizarre satellite images appear to have revealed a huge staircase-looking formation leading up the side of a snowy mountain in Antarctica. The size of the anomaly is about 1.5 miles by nearly a half mile. What could it be? It's also interesting that on the other side of that region, at some 13 miles away from the first strange formation, is another similar staircase-looking formation or structure, this one about 2 miles in length and less visible than the first one. We can't see much around or outside of the area where these anomalies or strange structures are located, as it's blurred. The unusual sight has sparked a fierce debate about its origin after it was spotted in Google Earth images. Some theorists suggested it could be part of a pyramid structure or some sort of a huge underground base of unknown origin. Another theory suggests it could be a glitch with the satellite cameras. Considering its size and shape, it's hard to say that it may have been created by nature to be a part of natural wind dunes, as it does not look like the surrounding wind-shaped landscape. While recognized scientists refuse to comment on this, we have no other choice but to wait for an expedition to go there and find the answers, or to get some better satellite images until then. The lost city of Atlantis, first mentioned by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato more than 2,300 years ago, is known as one of the oldest mysteries of the world, and people have actually spent thousands of years thinking and pondering the existence of this great city. While these musings have largely been sequestered to the realms of fantasy, new discoveries in the Antarctic could shed some light on the possibility of ancient civilization. In 2017, a satellite captured an image of an oval-shaped structure measuring 400 feet across that appears to be man-made. The rings look like walls of a compound in the middle of the Antarctic, but what is it doing there? It's located thousands of miles away from any civilization on the coldest, driest, and windiest place on Earth. Was this a part of a natural process formed by glacial lakes or ponds that freeze and then collapse? Scientists initially suspected this strange mound was sastrugi, sharp grooves formed on snow by strong Antarctica winds. But that phenomenon normally has short, sharp edges, and this mystery structure appears to be oval. Some theorists believe that it could be a trace of a human settlement hidden beneath the ice, and that it could even be the home of the legendary Atlantis. An American history expert, Professor Charles A. Hapgood, suggests that thousands of years ago, the icy tundra may have been home to an ancient and mysterious civilization. He published a paper back in the 1950s. In that scientific theory, he wrote that the movement in the crust of the Earth means that only 11,600 years ago, huge parts of Antarctica were totally ice-free. According to this theory, Earth's entire crust shifts every 20 to 30,000 years. So on that basis, it's believed that around 12,000 years ago, northern coasts of Antarctica were ice-free and inhabitable by humans. Professor Hapgood referred to the famous Piri Reis world map drawn 500 years ago by the Ottoman admiral of the same name to reconcile his theory with evidence. The Piri Reis map includes drawings of Antarctica's northern ridge 300 years before the continent was discovered officially in the 1820s by the Europeans. That indicates clearly whoever had the technology and ability to survey the continent on Antarctica must have created the map thousands of years ago before the continent was frozen. The map has been examined by numerous scholars, and they said it clearly shows the west coast of Africa, the east coast of South America, and the northern coast of Antarctica, with all landmasses totally devoid of ice. So what is the chance that the remains of the ancient city still exist under the ice? Well, without the resources to go to the harsh climate, it's impossible to tell from the satellite imagery just what this formation might be. In 2018, the huge structure hit the news, described by some as mysterious blacked-out structure and a buried UFO. The line of objects is more than a mile long, and it is in an area known as Queen Maud Land. A mysterious structure sparked a range of conspiracy theories about its origins, after some suggested it had been blacked out. But the truth is very simple in this case. If you put the coordinates into the highest resolution map of Antarctica ever made, RIMA, it's very clear that what comes up is not a buried giant UFO, but the location of the German Konin Station, a summer-only polar research station in the Antarctic, opened in 2001 and able to accommodate up to 20 people. This research facility is located 470 miles southeast of Neumayer Station 3, another German station. The scientists work and live in the 11 containers, each of which rests atop steel struts above the surface of the ice. You can't see the facility on the RIMA map because it is a relief map, whereas the Google image is a satellite picture. So in this case, no one is trying to keep it secret. Also, if you look elsewhere on the RIMA map, there are the positions of other research stations given, but no structures shown, though there are quite comprehensive drop-down information boxes. So when we count all of that, it still doesn't look like 22 things on the ice. Well, Konin Station is resupplied from Neumayer Station 3 by a convoy of 6 towering vehicles and 17 cargo sledges twice a year, which makes 23 in total. As it is situated on a vast ice plateau, any vehicles, sledges, and outside cargo will be arranged in a long line at 90 degrees to the prevailing wind, an arrangement that is sometimes called a berm. In this way, snowdrifts build up in tails that stretch away from the object, making it relatively easy to dig out anyone from the snow. So that mystery has been solved, as that original satellite picture is of those vehicles, sledges, and cargo laid out at 90 degrees to the prevailing wind direction, resulting in long wind tails of drifted snow. Location: South Georgia Island near Antarctica. In 2018, UFOologists claimed that a mysterious object spotted on Google Earth is a crash-landed spaceship. The unidentified mass was discovered near Antarctica on the remote South Georgia Island in the South Atlantic Ocean, where just 20 people live. Many theorists used satellite mapping to zoom in and get a closer look at the alleged spaceship near the 10,000-foot tall Mount Paget. Bizarre tracks can be seen running up behind the object, suggesting it slid through the snow for some distance before coming to a halt. while some believe it is the evidence of the crash-landed spaceship. One expert says it's the result of a large avalanche from a nearby mountain depositing a rock or large chunk of ice onto a glacier below. Dr. Richard Waller, senior lecturer in physical geography at Keele University, is behind the claim. According to Dr. Waller, it was deposited by an avalanche located in the upper part, known as the accumulation area of the Novosilski Glacier. Speaking to Mail Online, he added, "It looks to me as though this feature is related to a large avalanche from a nearby mountain. Part of a hanging glacier appears to have collapsed. You can see the avalanche debris at the foot of the slope, and this could be a large block of rock or ice that has traveled further as a consequence. The track shows that it's sliding over a snow-covered glacier before it comes to rest." Could this large feature, together with the debris at the foot of the slope, be something more than just a large block of ice? Well, I guess we won't be sure until someone actually goes there and takes a closer look. This year, a Google Earth user discovered what they believe to be a 400-foot ice ship lying in an iceberg about 100 miles from the coast of Antarctica. The huge ice structure was spotted on Google Earth south of New Zealand and has a striking resemblance to a cruise liner with a line of windows and a host of chimneys. The discovery has sparked a string of conspiracy theories from those who believe that there is something hidden in the frozen continent, with everything from a secret Nazi base to an ancient civilization. Some researchers compared its size with the size of a German destroyer in World War II, whose average size was about 400 feet or a little over 400 feet, speculating that perhaps this was a German ship from World War II. Whatever that is, just a strange ice formation or something more, we'll have to wait to find the answer to that question, like with many other Antarctica mysteries. In 2019, news about a massive face buried beneath the ice on Antarctica went viral. Baptized as Gigantica, the discovery of a formation that looks like the silhouette of a giant face with alien features has been the focus of attention throughout the internet. A discovery, also being referred to as the Antarctica Face, is causing quite a commotion among UFO hunters, skeptics, and scientists. Thanks to Google Earth technology, a YouTube user made the discovery of a massive face-shaped megastructure located in West Antarctica. The area where the alleged giant face is located is strangely shaped, giving off the impression that whatever is beneath, it has eyes, a nose, and a mouth. But its accuracy and symmetry is what caught the attention of many observers, as a particular face can be detailed with a broad forehead, slanted eyes, and a small mouth and nose concerning the rest of the structure, which is why users have labeled it alien. Many observers also quickly noted that the potential face bears an uncanny resemblance to the famed face on Mars that is said to sit in the Cydonia region of the Red Planet and was first photographed by NASA's Viking 1 back in 1976. But every time something unusual is found, once again, the mainstream media does its job by giving us an instant answer, saying that our mind plays tricks with us. What they refer to is the phenomenon called pareidolia, and according to the U.S. Space Agency, pareidolia is the psychological phenomenon where people see recognizable shapes in clouds, rock formations, or otherwise unrelated objects or data. Many images of Earth's moon, and even photographs of the surface of Mars, are said to show evidence of lost civilizations, aliens, and secret bases. NASA has dismissed all of those as being pareidolia. So according to them, there is nothing there besides some natural rock formations and snow. That looks like a really poor explanation, and based on what evidence? Once again, whenever something unusual is found, it appears that someone has to put us back into the neatly shaped, inflexible box made of a controlled paradigm. Even if this thing isn't something extraordinary, the instant explanation given by media is really puzzling. But if something is really there, if that's some kind of a monument from ancient times, just for a purpose to compare that situation, can you imagine the following scenario? Tens of thousands of years from now, some quote-unquote experts are trying to brush off the remains of the Mount Rushmore Memorial as just, quote, natural formations. Well, whatever that is, many people agree on this one. It's just too perfect to be purely natural and entirely random. Could this be something that was left behind by the ancient civilizations that inhabited Antarctica in the past? Scientists have reported that Antarctica has lost nearly 3 trillion tons of ice just since 1992, and it could very well be that the thaw is beginning to put the frozen South in a new light. Over the years, numerous weird things have been reported by news outlets across the globe. From pyramids in Antarctica to crashed UFOs and secret alien and government bases. They claim that accelerated melting of ice in the continent is revealing structures that have remained hidden from humanity for time immemorial. Will we start to see more remnants of an ancient civilization as more ice melts? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. We really hope you subscribe, and if you'd like to be notified of future releases, just hit the bell button. Leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on all of this and what topics you'd like to explore in our future videos.